This episode of IVC Riot is brought to you by dimfos.dma.mil. On today's episode, we're going to take the last 3 weeks and do this with it.
What was that?
What are we doing?
Welcome to IVC Riot, the show that takes your basic videography skills and makes them more intermediate. I'm your host, Joe Vigil.
You're not Ryan.
Seriously, Dan, did you put that there?
No.
Wow. Don't worry about it. We'll fix it in post. Where did you even get that anyway?
Lensa.com template.
So you're like one of those guys that goes to the store and buys a picture frame and like keeps that perfect family photo in there?
I never knew my father.
I don't even know that guy's name anyway. Seriously, is he in the course?
I didn't see him.
Yeah, well, he should be because it's an amazing course. We got to learn some crazy new video skills and advance some ones that we already knew. Hopefully in the end, we answered some of our instructor's questions. Like this one from Mount Stenberg. I'm guessing he meant Mr. and just fat-fingered himself into a big mountain. Cool. He asks, hey, did you think about using lights on your interview or did you just blow a fuse? Well, to answer that mind-blowing question, let's go to Brian and John.
I'm a mountain, Mount Stenberg. Oh.
Thanks, Joe. We're going to be focusing on the importance of three-point lighting. Now, lighting can really set a mood for your scene, so we're going to show how to go from flat lighting to an actual three-point light setup to make your scene from just plain normal to actually a little more exciting. We were going to show you some I don't know how to pronounce it, so we're just not even going to use it today. Alright, so as you can see in this shot, when you have just normal ambient room light, it makes your shot really boring and flat. Now to start with our three-point lighting, we're going to start with the key light. As you can see with the key light, it's your main light that's going to illuminate your subject and produce the primary light for your subject. You want to have this a little higher than the subject and point it down at a 45-degree angle in order to kind of symbolize sunlight. It makes it more natural and more comfortable to the human eye when you see it through video. But as you can see on the right side of his face, there's a little bit of harsh shadow going on, so that's where we're going to add in our fill light. See, the fill light now, it didn't eliminate the shadows, but it made the other side of the face a little brighter, so it can add balance to the lighting. But the only thing is as you can see, he looks like he's blended right into the background. So that's where we're going to add in a hair light. You see how the hair light will instantly pull the person away from the background some. But we have a little bit of an issue. If you see the side of his head, it's a little washed out. So you have to watch out for that and make sure you adjust accordingly. You can do anything from moving the light back to adjusting your lamp, or you can even use barn doors in order to minimize the amount of light that appears in the head. Well, hopefully that gives you a better idea on how three-point lighting can change your shot to boring to actually more exciting. So Mount Stenberg, should that be Mr.? Okay, the T is kind of next to the R. Okay, I understand. Oh, well, hopefully that answers your question, and we're going to send it back to Joe.
Great questions. Keep them coming, because we like ye. Sergeant Anderson asks, hey, I see you use the DSLR to shoot your story. Great angles. But did you think about using a tripod to stabilize those unwanted shaky shots?
No one uses a tripod.
Yeah, seriously, what's a tripod? It's all about the angles, right? James and Enica?
Who's Inika? Is that a tribe in Egypt?
No.
Hi, my name's Enica, and just to clear the record, I am not a crazy kind of cereal, not a tribe from Egypt, or an Eskimo. But thanks for asking.
And I'm James. It's pretty simple. Just James.
Alright, now that you've got your scene lit, we're going to move on to camera angles and movement. Camera movement and angles. Yeah, so the first piece of information we're going to talk about is whether or not you should use a camera movement. Make sure that every single time you use a camera movement, it has a purpose. Otherwise, you get this.
Okay, now that you can recover from that, make sure that camera movement is smooth. There is nothing worse than a jittery camera movement. Nothing. Now that you know how to use camera movement, we can move on to angles. There are 6 different kinds of angles that can take your boring, dull, run-of-the-mill video, Johnny YouTube video, and make that new story fantastic. The first angle is normal and objective. This normal angle is what a viewer is expecting to see, and it's objective, which means we are watching the sequence as if we are not involved. Ta-da! We have changed the sequence by adding in some high-angle shots that make the audience feel as if the person is inferior. We also changed up the medium and close-up shots to be more involved, making these shots subjective. Now with those changes alone, we have already made something more bearable to watch. But we will be taking it one step further and showing you 2 more things to help your sequences rule. Lower angles are making your viewer feel more dominant while adding an interest factor. We also use the point of view perspective to pull in our audience. Well, that about wraps this up. Now back to Ryan. I mean Joe. What's next?
Lens cap. Psst. The lens cap.
Well, I know.
Take the lens cap off. Yeah. Take.
FN.
Please be right. The Defense Information School has a long-standing mission of producing outstanding public affairs and visual information personnel for the U.S. Department of Defense. We are all alumni of this outstanding school and keep coming back for more awesomeness. In fact, we are shooting in the studios right now as we speak. If you want to find out about how Dimphos can take you to the next level, go to dimphos.dma.mil.
Nobody's gonna go there. You're not my supervisor.
Maybe. Some of the more important elements of our pieces are the good sound and effects of graphicness. So, Josh and Mitch, how did you achieve this awesome goodness?
Awesome goodness!
Thanks, Chris.
Joe.
Bob.
Joe.
Becky.
His name is Joe.
So, talk about audio levels. You don't want to have it overmodulated, like this.
This is overmodulated.
That could be a cool dubstep song.
Hey.
This is overmodulated.
Anyway, but you also don't want it to be undermodulated, like this, where you can't hear what's happening. You're just confused because you're like, am I deaf or not?
I can't hear anything you're saying.
That's the point, dude. Oh my god.
Another big thing you want to take into consideration with your final product is the music selection you choose. Music can affect... Wait, where did the other guy go?
He wasn't working out. So yeah, I'm going to talk about music and how it affects your shots, your video. You want to pick music that is appropriate to what your video is about. You don't want something like this.
Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the...
Now at the same time, music can change the feel of your video. You can have the same shots, but with different songs, it'll totally make it feel different. Like this.
Versus!
And of course, if all else fails, just use sail.
It's overplayed.
But it's good.
Okay.
Alright, so that's all we have for you today. I hope you learned something. If not, there are plenty of other videos on the interwebs that you can watch, different tutorials. And back to Steve in the studio.
For the last time, it's Joe.
Who's Joe?
Never mind.
Logo.
So that's all the time we have for this episode because we start the out process and head back home so we can show them all the wonderful things that we did. And they can hang them on the fridge.
Can't hang a video on a fridge.
You can. Anyways, we will be back. Just you wait.
This is not a very strong ending, Joe.